What a week has it been this week? Holy cow. Welcome back, ladies and gents. Welcome back to the live show. This, of course, is the live show. It happens once a week, every Friday evening. Chat, come on. Come on over. There we go. There we go. We got you guys in here. Holy. Diane Sylvian. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Member for 2 months. Hi, Clyde. What's up, bro? What are your thoughts on Singh literally saying he thinks he can be the next PM? Is he that delusional? Keep on trugging. I don't think he's even serious. No, he's not being serious when he says that. Just like I don't think he's being serious when he says a lot of things. I really don't think he's being serious when he's blaming grocers. Of course he's not being serious because he's not blaming Metro, the one that his brother lobbies for with his lobby firm. Yeah, that's right. So no, I don't think he's serious at all. In fact, I think he's full of it, and by it, you guys can let your imaginations roll with that one. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that like in down below. It helps out the channel a ton. I was away for 3 weeks, so algorithms, take a while to catch back up. And if you get those likes in there, comments, likes, all those things, the engagement, bring it right back up, and we'll get right back up there and in people's recommendations. That's the whole hope for that. Anyway, let's we'll see that. We'll see how this all goes. The love triangle. Yeah, no, I don't know if I don't even want to get into it in this stream. I've talked at length about it. If you want to see, I did a video about that this morning. Yeah, big long conversation with Wyatt Claypool. That was really good. Got all that stuff out of the way so that we can move on and we can talk about other more important things. That's definitely the thing. Guest tonight, Sam Field, and he's texting me right now. I'm stoked. I can't wait. Sam is great. Sam has been just such a tremendous character in Canada for every Canadian, but also holds a special place in my heart. He's a friend, a father, excellent guy. He was part of the Freedom Convoy, and he's definitely been very effective in his efforts to protest against the carbon tax, the whole Axe the Tax thing. He's a big contributor to that, one of the main organizers making those things happen, and he's going to be on the show later this evening, so looking forward to that. That one is going to be great. But about Jagmeet, I think is people. I've said his name before, and people will correct me. It's pronounced Jagmeet. Okay, whatever. However it's pronounced. I mispronounce everybody's name. Who cares? At this point, I'm not. I'm apologetic to people when I mispronounce their names, but whatever it is. Wacko. Yeah. Sounds like Pac-Man. That's right. Yeah. Wacko. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. Holy cow, in the political landscape. And boy, oh boy, did we get a good close look at a number of them this week. Holy. We'll call you Cued. What? Clued. Why? Hold on. What? Why? Did I miss something? Did I miss something there? Oh, just the mispronunciations. Sure. I mispronounce everything. Clyde, here you're looking at Texas. I've got family who moved. I got family who moved years ago. My son and family are getting ready to move as well. Hello, Texas. Well, if you have any contacts for me down in Texas, I'd love to get in touch with people that are down there. We're not sure where we want to move yet. We're thinking about either the outskirts of Austin area, not in Austin proper, and then also the outskirts of Dallas. Those are two areas we're kind of closely looking at. But yeah, if you have any contacts down that way, I'd love to get in touch with good people, of course. And I love meeting people that watch the show. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, we're gonna be checking those areas out. I suggested you watch it. He said he would, but I don't know. Oh, okay, Karen. Clyde, I sent you a link. I sent your link to your Diagon analysis to Viva Fry and suggested he watch it. He said he would, but I don't know. Okay, he actually he responded to that. I didn't send it to him in the DMs. In one of his tweets, I commented saying like, I don't know. I don't know if you want to get behind these guys. You might want to think about that. And that was a thing. Tons of huge content creators based in Austin. Yeah, I hear it's where like a lot of stuff's happening. So I'd like to be close to where all the stuff's happening. I want to bring the story of what's happening to Canada to that circle of creators. I'd love for them to hear the story about what's happening to Canada. It's a cautionary tale for the free world. Absolutely. G-Meister gifting 5 memberships to the channel. Thank you so much. And everybody in there, everybody get in there and give him a thanks if you got a membership. Thank you very much. Diagon thing is meme. Yeah, just go watch my video. You'll see exactly what everybody's talking about. You know, it's it's best to just go to the source material. I'm not gonna go over it again. We did this last weekend. Oh boy, did I get to hear a lot of yeah. I got lots. My notifications went wild. Let's just say that. Thanks, Margaret. Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a good chat, and yeah, Wyatt Claypool's great. His analysis is fantastic. I mean, he was right about this almost 2 years ago. So what do you know? What do you know? What's the topic tonight then? Well, we're gonna get into that. It's about how we do have a way out of this. There's a lot of black pillars out there that want to talk about how there's nothing we can do. There's no voting your way out of this. There's black pill, and black pill people, they'll drag you down because misery loves company, and that's the whole point. No, there's hope. There's hope for everything. I mean, there's even hope for places like China, possibly in the future someday. I hope so. The Chinese people are not always going to want to live under authoritarian rule forever. But let's concentrate on where we do have freedom, or we still do have some freedoms, and concentrate on places like Canada and the United States, the beacon of freedom for the world. And let's bring it back here. And we know we can because we're getting examples of that happening throughout the world right now. G Meister, member for 22 months. Is it 22 months? Holy cow. Wow. Okay. That is a big number. Tap that like button. It's still free. The like button is still free. So get in on that like button, and I appreciate it so very much. It helps out a ton, actually. What it does is it sends out this signal in the algorithm. I mean, you can really get into it, tell the story of the algorithm and how it works and how it sends the signal out there to everybody. But yeah, you kind of get it. What it does is there's a lot of people out there that watch similar material that to you, and what happens is when you send the signal to YouTube that you like this kind of content, it sends out that signal to other people, like-minded people, that kind of thing, and it builds communities. YouTube's all about building communities. I hear a lot of people saying YouTube's all about censorship, and there's some censorious, parts to YouTube, but in general, YouTube is really trying their best in an environment where there's political pressures on them to censor stuff, but they really want to just bring people the content that they would want to watch. That's what they're trying to do. And then, inversely, they want to sell advertisement, and they're the best at it. And that's exactly what they're doing. So yeah, send, who is sending signals? Who's sending signals? The algorithm. It's just AI. It just goes, hey, I know this guy likes this kind of stuff. This Clyde guy's kind of similar to this guy, and these guys watch that. I bet you they'd like Clyde's channel. That's how it works. And when you do the like buttons, that's what That's what does that. So appreciate it. Thank you so very much for that. Now let's get into this. Jagmeet Singh, Jimmy McJuggernuggets, as we called him before on the channel here. This is from CTV News. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh confirms his party will support the Liberals' federal budget. So much for an October or a spring election or any of this stuff. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. I've been saying this for a while. I've got a bet, kind of a bet with Northern Perspective, a friendly. I can't remember what if it was a $5 or a bottle of whiskey. I can't remember what it was, but the bet is they thought there was going to be a spring election. I said it's going to go to 2025. I guess because I said that, we could probably double down on if it's going to be a fall election or something like that. Yeah, I think they're going to go all the way to 2025. My thoughts behind this is Jimmy McJuggernuggets here, Jimmy Dollywall Jagmeet Singh is buddies through another organization, not the Canadian government, with Justin Trudeau, Chrystia Freeland, all these people. Yeah, it's the World Economic Forum. That's the other one. That's the other one that people are these people are all friends, and they all share the ideas, and they have an agenda. And the idea here is, yeah, they're gonna push their agenda as far as they can. They're looking at the polls and they know they're not going to get elected again. It's crazy. What is the federal trend lines right now? CPC is up 41.1%. Like holy cow, 41.1% to the Liberal Party's 24. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, yeah, and Jagmeet Singh's going to lose a lot of traction, actually, after this interview. I haven't seen the whole interview, but I've seen snippets of it, and here's a little snippet of it with Vashi. I don't know how you pronounce that, Vashi. But she basically calls him out on this whole thing. Jagmeet Singh, this is contrarian, saying Jagmeet Singh getting mocked by Vashi on another opportunity to bring down the Trudeau government and him passing on it. This is his words. Here we go.
We've addressed that. I've raised that directly with the Prime Minister, and I expect to see solutions.
But you have something available to you that few others do. You have the power to actually sway the vote. The Conservatives and the Bloc were going to vote against. If you added your party's votes to that, the budget would be defeated, the government would go down, and that would be in parallel to how you describe this government. You have said Justin Trudeau is a failed leader who is bad for Canada, and yet you're not willing to actually vote in that manner. You are keeping them in power despite your concerns, despite saying something like that.
Yeah, you're keeping them in power. That's the thing. I dig in. Contrarian, thanks for the music in the background, by the way. Yeah, what's with the Bollywood music? I don't know. It's funny though. It's too funny. But yeah, of course, he's propping up the Liberal government. That's what he's doing. I mean, you could dance around. He could try dancing around it, and you can, there could be apologists out there for the NDP saying that no, he's got some other plan. It's another thing. No, this is a coalition with one initiative and one thing alone, and that is to try to keep Trudeau in power. This current state of affairs, this government in office until 2025, and that's what, the fall of 2025. Yeah, this is going to be pretty tough for Canadians, but time is going to run out eventually for them. But this is where we're at, and it gets crazier. The world, Canada, is just really, really insane. Where are you gonna get your news there, Clyde? What? No, I got distracted by that. So this little bit, this one cracked me up. I don't know if this is legitimately Guibault's daughter. This is somebody's daughter. Anyway, I'll move the chat away for a second here. So Stephen Guibault's daughter says it's unsanitary to use the toilet, so she developed an outdoor potty system for guests. Imagine being a guest at the Guibault house. This is the plan here.
To use the bathroom outside. I require all my guests to use the bathroom outside. Hi, my name is Ivy Bloom, and this is my outdoor potty area. I used to let my friends use the bathroom in my house, but I've since learned how unsanitary that is. Before entering the potty area, I require guests to put on these foot covers.
Hold on, why would it be unsanitary to use the toilet? I mean, that's the most sanitary thing you can do with that stuff. But this, read the rules. Please read. 1, you must dig a hole at least 6 inches from an existing marker. Only 2 paper towel sheets allowed per use. Please log the journal before exiting the bathroom.
First-timers are required to read the rules. The most important rule is to dig at least 6 inches from an existing stick, because that's where another guest has dug a hole. It's pretty simple. You just dig a hole, do what you have to do, and put your toilet paper on top. I provide seeds that must be placed inside to keep my garden growing, and once that's placed inside, you cover it up with the dirt you dug up,
Oh,
and
wow.
then place
Human
some leaves
fertilizer.
on top. The last thing you have to do is mark the spot with one of these sticks. I do live in Arizona, and it gets really hot, so I provide a bucket
Okay,
with
so it's not Guibault's daughter. But it's still funny. It's still insane.
refreshments and snacks that visitors can snack on while using the bathroom. And yes, there is a privacy curtain. Once that's done, they can take the covers off their feet and wash them in this bucket. Then they have to place them in this jar so that the next guest can use them. Once my guest is done using the bathroom, I require them to sign this journal. And I do respectfully ask for tips because maintaining this area can get a little expensive.
Or just use the loo. What the heck? I don't get these hippy dippy new age people. It doesn't appeal to me. You got a toilet. There's nothing more sanitary than that. What are you doing? Friend for Greta. Yeah, that's right. Oh, insane. I just had to share like a few of these things. This one was something that really cracked me up. I shared this on Twitter the other day. And this guy nails the art of the non-answer. It's a POV. You ask Christia Freeland a question. What you ask her the question, what she had for lunch, and this is how she would answer.
First of all, I want to thank you for that question. I think it raises a really important topic of discussion. It opens up a very important conversation about what lunch means to all of us in 2024. When we look to our childhoods, when we ate lunch at 11 a.m. Today, many people would consider that a late breakfast. And just yesterday, I had lunch at 1:30 in the afternoon, which some people would consider an early dinner. And I think as we look toward the future of what lunch can mean, I'm just so proud of what we have accomplished. While also acknowledging that it is important to not disregard what lunch has meant in the past. But we're working really hard towards finding...
Oh, too funny. That's the art of not answering a question. It is perfect. This is how Christia Freeland answers everything. Yeah, it's a giant word salad. None of it means anything. And it's just run the clock out and just say nothing. Say absolutely nothing. Here's a perfect, here's another example of it. And this is Wiretap Media bringing this one out. Breaking: full-time Ukrainian warmonger Christia Freeland claims the majority of Canadians who don't support funding for Ukraine's unwinnable war against Russia are not real Canadians. Oh, okay.
You know, Bronwyn, I would actually say it's less about me and more about Canadians. We have some political differences even around this issue in Canada, but I would say actual Canadian people are very clear in the centrality of this issue and the importance of supporting Ukraine. Bronwyn, I would actually.
Yeah, you're not Canadian if you don't support that. No, she's crazy. Some days she's just droopy and dreary, and other times she gets out and I don't know, she has has a little take of something, and then it helps her out with all that.
Deputy Prime Minister, it's an extra special day because we have our Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister here, and we have an amazing group of young people behind us. And look, we just took some time having
just crazy, just crazy. Is nobody noticing this? I think a lot of people are noticing this. Yeah, wacko is a great word for this one. Christia Freeland, King Wackadoodle or Queen Wackadoodle. Now I want to talk about this one before we get into the main topic. Yeah, twitchy. Main topic for tonight is where we could go with Canada, if we get the right support, the support to do it. But before we get into that, I want to talk about this. This is another scandal. If there's not another scandal, it's like another scandal every single day. It really is crazy here in Canada. But this Trudeau for treason here puts this one out there. Here's another Liberal under investigation for fraud against Canadians. He had his own lobbyist group lobby against the government that he himself is part of and was in charge of the procurement process. The Ministers of Employment, Development, Alberta's own Randy Boisenault. I don't know how you pronounce that. Lost on me. But this is the story here from Global News. Federal Cabinet Minister Randy Boisenault linked to PPE company embroiled in lawsuits. Oh, okay. So we got more people in government embezzling our money or tax dollars away. Scott Gallant with a $2 super chat. Free based land. I like that. Free because she's free basing. BWOS in Ohio. Is that in Ohio? Lamau? I don't even know. Ofuera. You're going to get to Ofuera. But yeah, this guy, federal cabinet minister, remains listed as director of medical supply company for more than a year while, excuse me. Oh, it was like right there. You ever get a sneeze and it's like, oh, it's just about to sneak up on you, and then, well, no, not happening. Supply company for more than a year while he was competing for provincial and municipal contracts, according to business registry documents obtained by Global News. Global Health Imports Corporation, GHI, a company that Employment Minister Randy Boisenault co-founded after he lost the 2019 election, outbid multinational companies on pandemic contracts for items such as disinfectant wipes and isolation gowns. So the same thing. It's funny because we heard something coming out about Anita Anand or Anita, whatever her name is, also in government. Conflict of interest because she was supplying the test kits, which was incidentally an accusation by Chris Sky about Pierre Poilievre's wife that he got from ChatGPT. By the way, that's not even a joke. That's a real thing. It's just me, Nicole, member for 4 months, says she makes me want to play whack-a-mole with your current government bobbleheads. Yeah, no kidding. Diane Sylvain, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I think I got it right this time. Sylvain with $13.99 super chat. No need to say my last name, but I think I got it. There is always hope. If you believe it, you will see it. I think one of these many scandals will blow up on the Libs' face. The new scandal today with Randy Boisenault, MP. As I'm reading it, that's crazy, the timing with that. So that, yeah, there's another scandal involving another Liberal MP that was profiteering while putting us under lockdown and imposing all of these things on us. You know, we had to buy separators for our businesses. We had to buy gloves. We had to buy masks. We had to do test kits. We had to do all of that stuff. And guess who was selling this stuff and who was doing the bidding on that? Well, yeah, we know it. We know it now. Now, another thing I've been promoting for a lot of time. Well, I've been promoting this for a while, and I started taking to Twitter to do this. And holy cow, people are pretty responsive on this front. I put this one out today. Tired of cancel culture? Want to bring purpose into your life with a sense of accomplishment? Get a trade. We need more people in the trades. And I took a picture of just me with my impact gun at work. I really want to push this on people. You probably know some young people that are unsure of what they want to do for a living in their life. I would recommend getting into the trades. There is so much opportunity in the trades, and there are businesses everywhere just dying for good, honest, hardworking people that would be happy to make a living, learn a skill, get out there. There are plenty of people that are eager to teach you and eager to hire you. Just come with some impactful photo. I like that. Puns are great. Yeah, no, get a trade. Get out there and encourage young people in your life. Encourage people out there to get into the trades. I know a lot of people are trying to peddle learn coding and stuff. That stuff's going to be pretty obsolete and not too far in the future here. We're seeing AI just taking over those jobs like crazy. HM with $5 super chat. Could it be globalists pay Trudeau, Jag, huge bucks and keep coalition going until 2025, push globalist laws to succeed, making Canada the first post-nation state? I would say that that's probably their goal. And that's the direction they want to take it. Now, are we gonna just sit down and take that? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, look at the popularity of the Conservatives at the moment, and why are they so popular now? Is it because they're the same Conservatives that they've always been? No, it's because they've been, you know, under a lot of changes lately, and a lot of people are looking at Pierre Poilievre as a guy who's gonna bring some change to Canada. Is he gonna do that? Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. And he can take some inspiration from overseas. Just in the other Americas. In the other Americas, there's some really good stuff going on. But here in Canada, we have stuff like this. Always billions leaving Ottawa. Here's the I don't know who actually gets print media anymore, but this guy took a picture of it. Honda reaches EV deal worth with Ontario, Ottawa worth billions. Now, is this because they're this is a new idea? No, I called this ages ago. I said, you know, when Volkswagen got that big deal, $13 billion or whatever it was in I think Thomas, Ontario. I said, now any manufacturer that wants to come to Canada is not going to do it unless they're handed a giant check to do it. That's the way it's going to be. These deals got to get cut off. They got to get cut off because it's the only way these companies will come to us now. Unfortunately, thanks to the worst negotiator in the world, Justin Trudeau, and of course his compadre, Ford, Dougie Boy Ford in Ontario. I guess what are people calling him, Chino, conservative in name only. Yeah, that's right. So we got Paul Mitchell here talking about this. For those who are interested, when the government gives a foreign company $5 billion to create 1,000 jobs, it costs taxpayers $5 million per job. Does anyone want to send $5 million so I can create a new job for myself? I didn't think so. No, but this is the reality of it. Honda gets $5 billion in tax-funded subsidies to create 1,000 jobs. 1,000 jobs. And look at these guys, all proud of themselves. Look at Trudeau in his Pee Wee Herman suit. All proud of himself. for that. Wow, what an accomplishment. Let's just waste all the taxpayers' dollars. Now, this is it. $5 billion of borrowed taxpayer dollars for Honda. 1,000 jobs created. $5 million per job. He doesn't like this math question. Justin is an a-hole and a psychopath. Liberal economic policy. Trudeau's Canada. So he didn't like a reporter actually doing the math and then asking the question.
So just to be clear, no one's willing to answer the question specifically. How many jobs are being created and what is the cost for the government deal?
If you're not going to listen to the answer of it saying 1,000 jobs created, then there's nothing we can do for you.
You're not going to listen to the answer. 1,000 jobs. There's nothing I can do for you. $1,000 or sorry, 1,000 jobs for $1 billion, $5 billion bucks. Crazy. Bannister Post with a $5 super chat. Let's pop this in here. I just got this in the mail. NVAN, I guess North Van, gets $18 million to build 3,000 homes in 10 years. Need change now. That's crazy. What? $18 million to build 3,000 homes in 10 years. Come on, let's do the math. What? That's it. What? Okay. Okay, 18 million divided by 3,000 equals $6,000 a home. They're gonna build each home for $6,000. What are the homes gonna look like? What are these homes gonna look like? That what? 18 million? Are you sure it wasn't 18 billion? Yeah, it's in Jonathan Wilkins's newsletter. $18 million to make $6,000 homes. What? That's that's insane. Holy cow. 300 square foot homes. Thank you for calculating. Yeah, what? Really? Oh man, these people are so lost. Holy cow. 3,000 homes. Holy cow. You know how much a home costs in North Vancouver? You know how much homes cost in North Vancouver? You can't buy a house, a standing home, for less than $2 million in North Vancouver. You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, we're just gonna make some $6,000 homes. You can't buy the lumber for $6,000. What are you talking about? What? Yeah, we're gonna pay all the laborers with $6,000. Oh man, you cracking me up. Oh man, that's insane. Yeah, $7,000 a month rent. Do you realize why I'm leaving? So I'm losing my place. I don't live in North Van. I don't live very far though. And yeah, no, it's holy cow. $6,000. You know, if it only costs $6,000 to make a house, sign me up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is just ludicrous. What? Oh, Clyde, your laughter makes this crazy news much more palatable. Well, it's absurd. Oh, it really is. Oh, it really is absurd. Holy cow. Do you realize interest rates are at an all-time lows, Glenn? I gotta pull that clip up. These people, holy cow. Holy, what are they on?
Regardless of what that figure is exactly, future governments are going to have to carry that debt. The servicing costs on that are going to be very high.
Sorry?
The servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry, that you're adding to now, right?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
Okay, but it's still a lot of money.
No.
It's still a lot of money.
No.
And you don't know where. Okay, but how are you going to pay for that? How are you going to pay for those costs in future years? Are you going to increase taxes, or are you going to cut programs?
Okay. Right now,
Watch Trudeau. Every time he does a thing, he's got to answer a question. He always does like this. Okay. And then he answers the question. It's you know you're just gonna get BS when you see that face. Holy cow! And he's got like his audience, like the way to pay attention. What he does is he's the oscillating fan. Like I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but he's the oscillating fan. When he speaks publicly, he looks over here for a bit, and then he talks, and then he looks over here for a bit, and he talks, and then he looks over here for a bit, and he talks, and then he looks over here for a bit, and he talks. He's not really talking to anybody. It is the funniest thing. Oh man, $6,000 houses. Afuera! This guy's gotta go. Diane Sylvain with a $5 super chat. When asked how fascism starts, B. Russell replied, first they fascinate the fools, then they muzzle the intelligent. Yeah, well, yeah, wow. They are doing that. Clyde, you're too funny. Holy cow! Isn't it about 150K before show? You're not even paying for the permission. And I say permission because they're called permits. You got to get permits. You got to own the land. 6,000. Wow, they're so dumb. Patch Dress with $13.99 super chat. Holy crap, you're actually losing your place, Clyde. Do you plan to move out of Canada? Sorry if you already explained this, your situation, but I'm busy at work day and night playing catch up with the carbon tax. Yeah, aren't we all? Holy cow. Yeah, I'm losing my place. There's going to be a lot of people that have heard this, some people who haven't heard this. I'm losing my place because my landlord he says he wants to move back in. Whether that's true or not, that's all you have to say to kick a tenant out. We've been here for over 10 years. We got 2 months notice just before we went to Japan, incidentally. So, we went for 3 weeks. So we got 5 weeks notice to pack up our lives. And we're looking at the current market, and I'm telling you, like, even to get a 1-bedroom apartment for our family of 4 is going to be more expensive than what we pay now for a 3-bedroom house. It's really crazy. It's really crazy the way the market's gone. And so of course, I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to leave town. And when we were contemplating this, we were talking about it, and we were like, oh, okay. If we leave town, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go to another expensive Canadian town. Got to pick up. Got to quit my job. Got to leave all of our friends behind. We can't stay in this town. So we're like, okay, what's the difference between 50 kilometers and 5,000 kilometers? I have dual citizenship with the United States, so we are going to be moving to Texas. That's the plan. I don't know exactly when. We're probably going to have to get an interim place. In the meantime, we're going to have to shoehorn ourselves into a tiny 1-bedroom apartment. Historic lows, Clyde. That's right. Historic lows. Oh, historic lows. A historic low square footage. That's what we're looking at. It's a good thing our family are tight and we love each other, and we get along and everything's good. We'll definitely have to live in something small for a few months, but then we're gonna pack up and Texas looks like the direction we're going. So because we looked at some different things. Florida for one. My wife is terrified of hurricanes, and for good reason. I mean, for good reason. But yeah, it was like no direct hits from hurricanes, please. And that was it. Arizona or Florida? Okay, so yeah, Arizona. I like Arizona. My wife doesn't like the desert, so it's again, everybody's got to be happy. She's not scared of Florida Man. So the funny thing about Florida and Florida Man is in Florida, it's called the Sunshine State, or they have sunshine laws, where if the police arrest somebody, they have to publish it in the newspaper. And so this is why you always see these stories of like Florida man arrested for this, and they have a mugshot. It's just when you make it a law that they have to publish it, then you get like an influx of publications of this stuff, and that's why the Florida man thing got so famous. It's not that more Floridians are crazier than any other state. It's just that's the way it is. In Florida, you can carry a gun too. In Texas, you can carry a gun, and I will. Why wouldn't I? It's yeah, for sure. I be scared of gators. I hear people aren't scared of gators. It's kind of like living in BC and not being scared of bears. You know, it's one of those things. Or cougars. Cougars are everywhere in my town. I've never actually seen one though. You see the scratches on the trees and stuff because they're there. But that's the thing. But I'm not scared. The only cougars I'm scared of is if I go to the bar with my buddies. I'm like, whoa, you get mauled. Holy cow. But that's the thing. So yeah, Texas is the idea of this. But anyway, moving on with $6,000 homes. Wow, the popularity of this guy is cracking. It's going away. Even publications like the Toronto Star are saying Justin Trudeau's budget fails to find support for many Canadians, poll suggests. Yeah, because his budget is more spending, which leads to, you guessed it, more inflation. Actually, inflation is the spending. Inflation is the part where they increase the monetary supply, the number of dollars that are out there. That is what is the cause of inflation. It is inflation. CPI, Consumer Price Index, the inflation rates that they tell you, these are just ways of measuring inflation. Inflation is the increase in the monetary supply. I'm sorry to hear about that, says Patch Duress with a $13.99 super chat. Thank you very much. It most definitely sucks for renters or housing in general. Thank you, Prime Feminister. And it'll get worse for Sean Fraser. He's the next liberal superstar for sure. Yeah, well, yeah. Nobody wants to be the leader of the liberals right now. At least not for the next decade. They're not getting back into power. And hopefully things turn around. Diane Sylvain with a $20 super chat this time. Houston is better than Dallas as closer to water. I have a friend who lives near Houston, and you have the right to carry a handgun in a holster without a permit, both openly or concealed. Yes, it's a constitutional carry state. Apparently it hasn't always been that, but yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, I don't know about Houston. So I've been, we've been checking out stuff. A lot of people tell us to stay away from Houston. I'm surprised you're telling us to go to Houston. A bunch of people tell me stay away from Austin, but Austin's where a lot of good stuff is happening. Trish Prue with a $2 super chat. Austin gets hurricanes and some tornadoes. Yeah, they get hurricanes, but it's not like the direct hit like Miami and these places get. And I hear even northern Florida isn't that bad, but what do you say? What do you say? Austin is very woke. California has invaded. That's what I keep hearing. But I think Texas's definition of woke might be a little different than like Canada's definition of woke. Like Vancouver is very woke. Toronto has become very woke. If the Conservatives win the next election, will you move back to Canada? Well, that's a hard one because like our prices going to come down in like months in Canada. I don't think that'll be the thing. I don't think it'll get affordable right away. Jason Abbey, member for 8 months. They haven't been able to watch. Haven't been able to watch live lately, but I watched them all. Oh, that's awesome. Well, awesome that you made it for the live one this time. Sam's telling me his camera timed out. Oh, well, jump out and jump back in. I'll text him. I have to text him again. He's coming in a bit here. Just bear with me for a moment here. I want to get into this next story, but I want to make sure that Sam can get into it. Okay, that should work. Back to the story. So this is the reason why I'm feeling, let's say, optimistic about what can happen for Canada. I need a producer. I do. It's just me. It's just me here. The reason why I'm feeling optimistic for Canada is from things like this. Capitalism works. Javier Milei's Argentina has first quarter budget surplus in 16 years. Libertarian leader says our plan is working. This is from the Gateway Pundit. And I think I have that article here. Yeah, it's here. Capitalism works. Economic improvements in a country's economy are not magic. No, they're absolutely not magic. President Javier Milei told Argentinians on a televised address where he had a good and rare news to announce. Its government is successfully taming reckless public spending, which resulted in a rare and welcome first quarter budget surplus. This is great news, absolutely. Jason Abbey with the $2 super chat. Let's all remember to like the stream. Yeah, thank you very much for the reminder there. Make sure you get in there and give a like to the stream. Absolutely. Yeah, afuera. For people who don't know the reference, I'll pull up the clip. I think I have it here. Where is my clip of Monsieur Milei? Did I even save it? What? Afuera. Maybe I don't have that clip. It was him, and he was talking about all the different things that he was going to get rid of in government. But I do want to show. Is this the clip? Oh, I gotta see. 1 second. Is this the clip?
When I mention our name.
Yes, this is the clip. So I want to showcase this one.
When I mention names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now is the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on.
Did you catch that? Prime Minister Trudeau and the president of Argentina and so on. He didn't even remember the guy's name. He's bragging about having this guy in his pocket, but he's talking about the president of Argentina. This is obviously before Javier Milei got elected.
So we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau.
Jeez.
And
they need a
I know
producer.
that half of this cabinet, or even more, half of this cabinet are actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, so this is so encouraging. I love this because these guys thought they had it in the bag. They thought, this is us. We got it. It's ours. You can't do anything. We've taken over the world, you know. And no, this can be turned around. We can elect somebody that has our right intentions in mind. And you're not gonna vote your way out of this one. Are we not? Are we not? So let's get back into the article. Reuters reported here, our plan is working, declared the Libertarian leader in a televised address. Milei took office in December, pledging to enact an economic shock plan in a bid to lower triple-digit inflation and reverse a prolonged economic slump marked by steady deterioration of the peso currency and growing poverty. I know the situation is difficult, Milei added, but we're more than halfway there. Argentina has managed to get a fiscal surplus of more than 275 billion pesos. It's about $315 million US in March. The first quarter surplus represented 0.2 of the nation's gross domestic product. We're not going to give anything to pull this country out of we're not going to give everything to pull this country out of the hell we inherited, he said. We're attacking previous governments for the country's dire economic straits. The implementing of this promised spending slashing, Milei was happy to report his historic achievement. This is the first quarter with a financial surplus since 2008, said Milei, referring to his left-wing rival Cristina Kirchner's first year in the presidency. Milei, who took office in December, boasted of a feat of historic significance on a global scale. If the state does not spend more money than it collects and does not issue money, there's no inflation. It's not magic, the self-described anarcho-capitalist said. Milei was the winner in November elections, vowing to reduce the deficit to zero. Don't expect a way out through public spending, Milei warned on Monday. No, they're not going to add more spending. It's crazy the amount of inflation they had there. It was in hyperinflation scale, in the triple digits. Serious. Kevin Watson here in the chat with a $10 super chat. 2 years ago we chatted. I was one of the Leo that got Police Act charged for my donation to the Convoy. Well, I have 5 days left until retirement. I'll be able to speak freely soon enough. Please, Kevin, do that. Hit me up. I think we chatted on Twitter. I do believe this. Leo meaning law enforcement officer. Yes, I would love to chat. Hit me up. Definitely. Let's get on that. Holy cow. I'm glad you followed up with me. That's really great. Charlie with a 279 super chat. Don't carry Clyde, you the first one bad guy tax out. Don't carry Clyde, you the first one bad guy tax out. Okay. Thanks for the 279 super chat. Jason Abbey with a $5 super chat. Love the Wyatt video you had. I watch him every video, even though I don't agree with his view on homeless people and how they all should be removed. I haven't heard that take. You can't agree with everybody on everything. And I don't agree with everything that Wyatt has to say, but I really like talking to him. Move to Argentina, Clyde. Yeah. Oh, I'd have to learn a third language. Holy cow. Jason Abbey with $10 super chat. I hope you and your wife stay in Canada. You represent most Canadians and the best of us. I really appreciate that. And me being in Texas doesn't change the fact that I'm going to be talking about the Canadian story. I'm going to be bringing the Canadian story to the heart of Texas, to America. What is it? Texans, they always refer to themselves as Texans first and then Americans. It's funny. Very proud people. Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop talking about Canada. I'm going to be talking about Canada even more probably. And I'll be talking about it to Americans, raising this story so more people know more about it. Jason Abbey with a $2 super chat. Click the like thingy, make his wife jealous. My wife's jealous if you guys click the like. If that's the case, click that like. Oh yeah, help the channel out. It really helps a ton. Texas is a very hot place to live, Clyde. I love the heat. Absolutely love the heat. Not gonna lie, I really like the heat. When it gets super hot, like those days when it was like it hit 46 here 2 summers ago. I loved it. It was great. Working in the shop with the doors open and just hot. So good. Jason Abbey with the $2 super chat. Wyatt is very smart and very informative. He knows a lot of things. It's really interesting how much he actually knows about history and all of that too. You mentioned something, he's got an answer for it immediately. But back to the story. So this really gets me excited about what's going on down in South America, because freedom is on the rise. And this whole concept of people striving to be free, wanting to break the chains of this addiction to government. And it really is an addiction. You know, the government's this pusher that wants to push, easy, free, cheap, lifestyle. Oh, we'll just help you out. People get addicted to it. It's crazy. The government ought to do this. It's like that whole thing. There ought to be a law. There ought to be a law. When people say there ought to be a law, that's when you tell them no. Don't advocate for more laws. We need to get some of the other crappier ones off the books first. It's the same thing with adding more spending. The government loves to spend your money on you. It's crazy. They spend your money on you. They what was the phrase Thomas Sowell said? It was the insidious thing governments do is or a socialist government does, they take your money away from you, or they take your money away from you quietly, and then they give a portion of it back to you flamboyantly. And it really is absurd. But it leads to what happened in Argentina. Argentina economically went to trash over decades and decades and decades because of socialist policies, and now they're moving towards freedom. Argentina's lower house approves Milei's budget slashing bill. It's news that came out just a few days ago. After a marathon session that lasted overnight, the lower house provisionally approved what remains of Milei's flagship omnibus reform bill with 142 votes against 106. There were 5 abstentions. The bill includes some 230 articles, down from the initial 600 plus rejected by lawmakers who sent the government back to the drawing board in February. Self-declared anarcho-capitalist Milei won elections last November, vowing to take a chainsaw to public spending and reduce the budget deficit to zero. By decree, he cut the cabinet in half, slashed 50,000 public jobs, suspended new public works contracts, and ripped away fuel and transport subsidies, even as wage earners lost a fifth of their purchasing power, and annual inflation approached 290%. The poverty level in Argentina has reached 6 in 10 people, according to a recent study. Last week, Milei hailed the economic crisis-riddled South American country's first quarterly budget surplus since 2008 and warned struggling Argentines not to expect a way out through public spending. Congress where Milei's party has a minority in both houses, things have not gone his way, says this person. It's not going their way. It's going. After his ominous bill got thrown out in February. Okay, so it got thrown out, but this is how negotiation works. You highball, and then they lowball, and then you meet halfway, and that's how you cut spending. Jason Abbey with a $20 super chat. Get on Joe Rogan, inform him of what's going on in Canada. I really love you in Canada, but I think we all understand why you might leave. You will do another Northern Perspective video. High vis merch. The high vis merch. That one doesn't go away. I'm going to have to make that happen. But of course, if I was invited on Joe Rogan, I wouldn't turn that down. Of course not. And moving down to Texas, you know, being able to join any of these shows at the drop of a hat would be a lot easier. So we'll see where things go. And of course, I'll do more content with Northern Perspective. They're fantastic. They're some of my favorite YouTubers on the entire platform, and especially in the Canadian space. So yeah, of course I'll do more stuff with them. Absolutely. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, story from Argentina is just that. Things are turning around. They're slashing spending. They're slashing government. And what do you know? It's working. So now every time the liberals come in and they say, well, the conservatives are going to get it. They want to make cuts to things, and that's going to be terrible, blah, blah, blah. The NDP will say, we need more government projects. We need more government this and that. No, we don't. Proof is in the pudding. Go look at what's happening in Argentina. They've got entrepreneurs. They got business people. They've got investors all flocking there because they're cutting regulation. They're cutting all the burdensome red tape that it takes to even start up a business. And when you have a country that's a bastion for freedom, people just want to go there. Chris B with a 279 super chat. Clyde, you got to do what's best for your family. Absolutely. Absolutely going to do what's best for my family. Of course. Thank you very much. My family is sorry. Get a lump in the throat when you think about that. I'm gonna wash that one down. Wash that one down. Oh, this is great. You guys are so great. You guys are so great talking, lifting my spirits and all the things that you do. Yeah, all of you. This is why I love these live streams. It's a lot of fun to get in here, and it's a lot of fun to talk with everybody and get these perspectives from everyone. And this is why I also love to bring people in to share these perspectives as well. And of course, there's no exception to that for bringing in other people that are a lot like me in a lot of ways. You know, other people that work in the trades and other people that love rallying around other like-minded people that are fighting for the causes of freedom. And I want to introduce someone today who's been doing that quite a bit. And just before I do, Jason Abbey with a $2 super chat. When will you do a meetup? I'm also in BC. I'm doing one in June. I'm going to show the flyer for that because that's one thing that we're going to be doing. This is Reclaiming Canada Conference, June 21st to 23rd. It's in Victoria, so come on out to that. Get the tickets on the website. There's going to be a lot of people attending that one. We've got Drew Pinsky, Peter McCullough, Jay Bhattacharya, Lauren Southern, Tamara, Drea, we got John Carpe, Lauren Chan, myself. The list is gonna keep growing, so go check that out. we're all going to be there. So, and we're going to be hanging out for meet and greets afterwards. So yeah, come on out for that. But hey, let's get into this. I want to introduce my guest. I don't know if he needs an introduction. Like I said, fellow tradesman, person who rallying around the country for the sake of freedom and for the sake of affordability for Canadians in this land. I want to welcome to the show Sam Field. What's happening, my man?
Hello, my friend. Nice to see you.
It is nice to see you. It's been you're wearing your coveys, but it almost looks like you just got out of prison or something. You got the high vis.
Yeah, kind of. We had we were fortunate enough to have date night tonight. So Tamara and I just got in from out. We went and had chicken dinner tonight, and she picked the shirt. So it not enough time to keep changing wardrobe, and this is what's comfortable, and I like orange, but no political affiliation, that's for sure.
Yeah, you look like you dressed up like Stephen Guilbeault. It's hilarious.
Well, who knows? I mean, if you listen to some people, I guess they've got it out to put me behind bars for my actions, and I just it's preposterous what you and I are going through right now for merely standing up for what we believe is going to make a difference in Canada and in the country and even around the world. Like you said, what's happening in the waves that we've been making. It's good. It's good for the longevity of humanity as far as I'm concerned. And that's what I want to keep working towards. And I think you do too. So,
well, let's talk about some of those actions right now. You're heading off this rally against the carbon tax. What are you calling it? The Axe the Tax rally? Is that the official name for it, I guess?
No, it's the nationwide protest against the carbon tax. And we definitely, with all our might, we tried to eliminate any political affiliation from it. The fact that the Conservative government is using it as a marketing ploy or whatever, they've definitely jumped on board with it, and that's fine. It is something that should be acknowledged. I do think that the parliamentary system right now has a whole bunch of other things that they could be focusing on and could be talking to the constituents about other than this. I mean, we're doing a good job acknowledging the harm of the carbon tax. Like, just look at our industry. Kevin O'Leary, he's like, if you were trying to start industry in Canada right now, you must be heavily funded, and there's the evidence. You follow the money. Who is getting big grants and who's getting the money in our sector alone? It's very evident to me. But
so what sector is that exactly for the audience that doesn't know what you do?
The Volkswagen, the Volkswagen EV project, getting heavily subsidized in Southern Ontario there to build a new plant. And it's with good intention, I suppose, but it's blown so far out of proportion, the value that the Canadian taxpayers are going to have to pay, a solid auto manufacturer to encourage them to come and build an electric battery plant here in Canada. I don't think there should be so much emphasis on stuff like that. And it's he was just at the Honda plant, and that's right close to where I grew up. So to hear him speak about what they're going to do there, and there's a lot of directions that we should be investing our hard-earned money in, and I think where the current government is putting it is pretty much unacceptable in my eyes right now. So
$5 billion for 1,000 jobs. That's the stat. That's the number. Trudeau got upset when a reporter said that. How many jobs did you say? Right, for $5 billion. It's crazy. So,
and he got very. Yeah, sorry.
Oh no. Go ahead. You're my guest. I want you to say every.
He got very upset, like, to see him jump back into the microphone and address that question from that reporter was just rude, and that's what we're seeing more and more of, is this show that he's putting on.
Well, it's such a ridiculous concept, and I called this months ago. I said you're going to see more of this because the Volkswagen deal went through. What was that, $13 billion for a plant in St. Thomas or
Billion?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Did I say million? Yeah. No. 13 billion with a B.
Yeah.
$billion. Yeah. And I said in that time when that came out, when that news dropped, I said, now no auto manufacturer is going to come to Canada without a blank check or a big check. Like, they're just not going to do it. And sure enough, here we are. Honda is not coming unless they get $5 billion. Taxpayers' dollars, right? There's no return on investment on that. Like, what do you get for that? You get 1,000 jobs, so you get tax revenue from 1,000 jobs. It would take a million years to get that money back.
Just, we can talk right to our, you and me every single day. We're working on this junk, and the technology and the advancement, and where they're saying, all these people go to work every single day to better the manufacturing process and the safety element of it. And we're talking about a lot of hours that have been invested to making a machine that is supposed to be awesome. And with all that, it should become affordable. When you start mass engineering these products, it should be cheaper. The cost of a vehicle right now for what you're getting is disgusting. They shouldn't, the value of what people are paying for a vehicle to propel them through the universe is unacceptable. It's unnecessary. It's there's no balance anymore. That vehicle 40 years ago that you could buy brand new off the showroom floor for $10,000, and I know the rate of pay it's not evenly fluctuating right now. And I don't get it. I don't get how there's nobody paying attention. There's no accountability for the unnecessary spending. And a lot of it, we don't need these technologies in these vehicles. There's a lot of the processes in emissions control alone that are during the manufacturing process and during the precious minerals that are in it. There's a lot of fallacy behind it, and we're paying a lot of money. Like, if you right now, there's people stealing catalytic converters like it's going out of style.
Yeah.
And because of the scrap industry is paying them so much, and it's a quick paycheck for a lot of these guys that are under hard times, or they're hooked on the drugs, or they've got mental issues, or there's realities in Canada right now and around the world.
So I just want to backtrack a little bit, and just a little for people who don't know who you are. Sam Field, you're an auto mechanic. You're certified Red Seal like me in Canada, and you've been involved in a lot of these protests across Canada. You were involved in the Freedom Convoy. You and I were friends before any of all this stuff even happened. I know you as a local, right? And we've been friends for a long time. And then all of this stuff happens. You find yourself out all the way in Nova Scotia. You did the Freedom Convoy. You were part of that. That was a large success. And then, out in Nova Scotia, and now you're doing this protest, the protest against the carbon tax. So that's a little bit of a backgrounder for anybody who's like, who's this guy? And
sorry. I am Sam. I own Sam's Garage here in Morristown, Nova Scotia. It is the garage itself is a relatively new venture. I'm just coming up a year on it. I've been Red Seal for many years. I had a shop out in Pemberton, right where you and I met, and I've been in the trade all my life. We had a construction rental business my grandfather did, so I grew up fixing weed whackers and equipment, and my stepfather was an auto mechanic. My father, he's a commercial transport operator, and I've just been around it all my life, and seeing the fact that you can't half-ass it in our industries, right? Like, you have to make sure it's safe. You have to make sure it'll go the long haul. If you cut corners, it's going to come around and bite you in the ass. No, none of us like a comeback.
No,
that is the worst. Doing the job twice in our industry is worse than anything. I like, and not to denounce the safety thing, but you and I are in the same groove, man. Like if it needs brakes, it gets brakes or it comes off the road. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, and that's where it's hard for me right now in the industry, is seeing how little funds people have, and they've been working their whole life, and they were expecting to have a decent retirement, or a solid structure to keep building their families, and this carbon tax is just chiseling away at that. And so anyways, that's me for that. As far as the convoy, the trucker convoy, the freedom convoy, that's it was the TSN turning point for me in standing up after I got to participate in that. And I was a mechanic on the streets there, and I met those truck drivers, and I met the people in their cars, and I met the people that came and supported, from abroad. And it changed me. There's no denying it. I definitely felt really proud of our efforts. We made a big wave around the world with that one, and it changed. I believe we are still on. We're pretty darn close to martial law right now, and it's getting worse. And I think they would have escalated. We would have already we wouldn't have been able to have this conversation if we hadn't got up and went to Ottawa with the way I think that the mandates led into the everything that we all know the WEF is trying to push through, and the UN initiatives and the WHO, and how harmful it all is, and how interlocked it is a lot more present for most of the people that went to the Freedom Convoy, because we all got together and we got to talk, and we got to listen to one another and learn from our experiences. And that's where the real evidence hit me. I wanted to just keep standing up, because it's a long game, and the Canadian people are definitely worth it. I mean, we are inclusive as well. You and I, it doesn't matter your race, your ethnicity, it doesn't matter. We're in it for your car. You call us in the night. If I do a roadside, it's irrelevant. Language barriers are a big hurdle in our industry, because we have to explain to the customer exactly factually what's going on there, and we have to make them feel warm and fuzzy about the money they're about to spend.
That's the hard part.
It on credit.
It's the hard part. Yeah. Incidentally, I had an opportunity to use my Japanese skill about a month ago. Customer came in, but didn't speak English very well, and I was like, they called me over to the service writer desk. Clyde, can you help us? Oh yeah, it actually came in handy once. Every once in a while you get something.
And that's like that. And that's where it helps, being well versed and multicultural, and that's where the elders that are at the helm are assuming that we haven't been paying attention to one another. We've all, we're the 40s, right? The late 30s to 40s, that we've already been through school with mixed races, and we appreciate each other regardless of the color of our skin and where we've come from. We've already battled those hurdles. And those are old talking points that they're trying to bring up, and to a lot of us, it means nothing. We see right through it. It is nonsense when they're trying to paint us at certain things. And most of these racial issues that we're seeing are really just hammered across on the CBC, on this mainstream media, which there's another atrocious spending spree on our dime. Like, that is our overtime. That is our everything, going towards a machine that is literally trying to, well, they're not trying, they're controlling the narrative 100%. And it goes right down to our Googles and our everything. It's all
you're hitting so many topics all at the same time. Let's
sorry, man.
No, it's all good.
I know we have such a short time.
No, it's good. We can chat for a while. That's fine. So I do want to dive into this one though, because you're talking about when the trucker convoy took off. That was a pivotal moment in Canadian history where Canada was moving in a direction. People were obeying, and they were following orders essentially from a dictatorial prime minister and a dictatorial government and provincial governments that were enforcing all of this arbitrary stuff on us because of this awful pandemic that turned out to not be so awful at the end of the day. And, you know, some people were skeptical about whether or not that was the case. And it turns out that those people were vindicated in their skepticism at the end of it. And it was a battle. It was a battle of ideas, and it was a battle of, you know, free-minded, free thinkers saying, no, we're not going to be put in a pen. No, we're not going to be told this or that. We have to, you know, lock up and lock down. And no, finally, it was the truckers that said no to that Arrive can. And that was the trigger. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, was the Arrive can. They tried to implement it on the truckers that had been crossing the border the whole time with no problems. And America didn't even want this. They were saying, no, that's not a thing. And it was lobbying pressure on America that they actually turned around and said, yeah, let's do that. Let's put these restrictions on the border with Canada. And it was truckers that were put in the hot spot. They were the heroes of the pandemic. And then suddenly they had to change the image and make them the villains because they were going against this dictatorial thing. And that's what really sent shockwaves across the world to, holy cow, the Canadians are stepping up. Those guys, really? Like the guys that, like, a Canadian standoff, for people who don't know, and maybe you're not from Canada and you're watching the show, a Canadian standoff is known as two guys like standing there apologizing to one another and not you get caught in like a loop. Like, Canadians are such friendly people, you know, normally just, you know, take it and go on with their day, because we know how bad it gets. So a lot of times we're just like, I'm not gonna fight that. But Canadians stepped up, they stood up, and they became a thing that kept going throughout all of look at Argentina now. We were talking about that earlier about they want freedom now. The Netherlands, then, with the farmers' protests all over Europe, this is happening, and it's all based on the courage, I believe, that came from the Canadian truckers. It's amazing. It's amazing that you were a part of it. You were there. I was just at home reporting on it. And how does that feel? How does that feel to be such part of such an amazing?
I got goosebumps right now, man. I can't lie to you. I literally I have goosebumps just thinking of the moments and the people and the kids, the children that were present, and just seeing the spirit in their eyes, and their parents that understood that the lockdowns and the mask mandates and how it was all affecting everybody right in every single person's household. There was division all of a sudden because a lot of people understood the harms, or, you know, the when you're going along with the narrative, and you all of a sudden see something that isn't right, and then you choose to still go along with the narrative, that it weighs on you. It hurts you. And there was a lot of people that isolated themselves, and they removed good people from their life because of these, you know, nonsense mandates. And they were being ushered through by the municipal governments and these silly, you know, grocery stores telling you how far to stand apart and herding you like cattle. And when I got to see those parents with the empathy and the thanks that we were doing something for their children and our children, and we were there representing one another, and it was selflessness that really hit it home, that everybody didn't care. They were doing it for somebody else. And it was cold, and it was, you know, there were
who stages a protest in the middle at the end of January? Like, come on. In Canada,
a Canadian, a stubborn proud Canadian. and that's real. You know, the waves that we made those cold nights, they ricocheted off the shores abroad before they ever came back home, because of that media machine, and because of the current government that we have. they painted a horrible picture of us, and listening to those that intern Bell sniveling on the television, like the anger and the angst that he had in his the way he was.
You're talking about the police chief
there.
in Ottawa, yeah, the intern.
Oh. Intern police chief Bell. I'll never forget. It was the first night we had a hotel room, and that was the shower, and some of the trucks were breaking, and we just decided, we all chipped in with the money that people have been giving us, and we got a hotel room so we could all just decompress. And I remember turning on the television and staring at him and just watching his nose flare as he's describing something that was never present in the day at all, because I was on the streets and I saw that and I was there. And then I have, you have family members call you going, oh my gosh, is this that? And I'm, I would do another live and I would just denounce the whole situation instantly for so many people. But the media machine was working overtime to just paint the picture of something that we weren't. We were just standing up as best we could for what we honestly felt was wrong. And it was wrong. And it's been proven to be wrong. And we exposed so much nonsense with the machine, and overreach at every turn. And it's still going on now. And that's why I wanted to be a part of the carbon tax protest, is because it's in every house. It was an easy one for me. Sorry about that.
The
got heat on in the office.
I thought was the laundry's done.
Yeah, it's the penalty box.
So the carbon protest, the carbon tax protest. So this got fired up, and I remember when I was hearing about it, and I think I sent you a message at one point. I said, "You guys aren't going to the cities again, are you? Like that's gonna be a shit show. You don't want to be there." I didn't know what your plan was, but then you decided it wasn't gonna be in the cities, like the news was suggesting. It was gonna be at the border crossings between provinces. Why did you choose that?
I didn't really choose it. I wasn't part of the founding fathers of it. I knew a bunch of these people, and through the freedom movement and through other demonstrations, and the Save the Kids, and there was a couple other groups that had built a network. And I was just watching it one night, and I saw their first little podcast there, and I was scared, because I loved the concept of it, and I loved what they were trying to do, and I knew it was genuine and it was important, and just the way it was getting pitched, I didn't want it to. I wanted it to be. It was important to me to get it out there as best we could, and that wasn't their strong suit. And I don't mind talking to people, and I have been educating myself on a lot of this. And when I bought the garage, I saw the carbon tax hit super hard, and I'm seeing my customers struggle, and I'm seeing myself struggle, and yeah. So the interprovincial border thing, it was just literally, make a presence. When during a protest, you can disrupt things, right? And make the presence be announced, that there is enough people, and all the locations were nice and wide open and safe, and for the people to see. And there was, like you said, the congestion in a downtown core. It's too much. Try to manage the people, and not a lot of us live in the cities. The ones that are being hit and that are willing to stand up for the carbon tax right now, we see it because we're in the rural communities, and we have to travel in and out of these towns. And I think that's why they chose those. And it was something that was everybody could get to. It wasn't Ottawa. It was a lot closer to home for most people.
Yeah, because my fear with the whole idea of like people going back to Ottawa was like the characters that come in, like the characters, because I knew, like, okay, you guys, you'd be fine, you'd show up, and then you're doing your thing. But then you got all these other people that are that'll jump in and try to, take over your protest to get some attention, because they have their own cause, but then it looks like there's a bunch of people behind them, right? And then poor schmucks go in and they get their thing kind of hijacked on them.
And it's happening, it, like what you and I have just been going through with the Dags is it's pathetic. It's something totally different. But before we get into that, I have to say how proud I am of everybody that is still holding the line out there. Like, I've had to come home and run my business, and I went back down last weekend, and I can't thank them enough, and their families that are supporting them, pulling up the slack at home, and that are willing to expose themselves to these. There are some people out there that are definitely profiting or trying to profit or get clout or do their thing that they've been doing for a little while, and it didn't take us long to expose them when you're on the ground and you're doing it, because the proof's in the pudding. If somebody's actually gonna engage and come out there and stand in a blistering snowstorm with their country's flag in their hand and get covered head to toe in slop and slime and still do it with a smile on their face, and you look down the line and there's a couple of you there, and it's like, yep, this is it, guys. It's cold and bitter, but you actually knew you were doing something genuine, and there was no bullshit. It is what it is. And you would see people in the far for the photo ops and literally being a hindrance to those that were really just trying to do it the best they can. We boasted right from the get-go. All we wanted was professionalism. We wanted your A game. Come out here and stand for your country and stand for your community. And there was a lot of people that were trying to insert their narratives and their agendas on our movement. And that's why we had the mission statement and the code of conduct. Keep it incredibly simple, directly to only eliminating the carbon tax. It's not to come back with any other form of taxation. This is the facet that is crippling our families right now. It hurts every single one of us. The price on everything is skyrocketing. It's just not a hard conversation for me to have because everybody knows it. The officers on the side of the road, they knew it. It wasn't something I had to explain to much depth because, like I said, it was crippling your mom, your dad, your aunts, your uncles, your children, and trying to think that we're supposed to be building this marvelous foundation to grow our families. And you can't afford yourself right now, and that it's all because of this machine that is designed to cripple us. And the biggest one for me was the carbon tax, because they are forecasting to just every April 1st, she's just climbing up there. And if you can't afford it now,
just wait a year. Just wait a year. It's just going to get worse. And so I wanted to get into this, and I was looking around to see if I could find the picture. I don't have it handy. But it was a picture that you posted on Facebook of a receipt for the fuel that you get at your gas station, and just insane amount of money. So like, I don't have the picture of it, but just break it down. Like how much fuel did you have to get, and how much are you paying in carbon tax and passing? Obviously, you're passing this on to the consumer.
I get one a week. And that is all. That is it. Yeah. The lady that did the TikTok on it, I think it's at 1.4 million views. That's that. So it's getting around. It was 3,000 liters of fuel. I think at the time of the ticket, it was $1.19 for the fuel, and I was paying $1.76. So, you're talking $2,000 worth of taxes. So if it was the $3,000 in the fuel, I was paying I think it was $5,500 it cost me to buy 3,000 liters of fuel. 2,000 of that was taxes on it. And these are just, I know it's closer numbers when you look at the receipt, but it's atrocious. And for me as the end guy before the consumer, I put a 3 cent markup on that, and sometimes it's 4. But I'm a full service station. We go out, we'll wash your windows, we'll check your oil, we look at your tires, we take the whole thing into consideration.
I have never even seen that anymore. I haven't seen that since the 90s. Oh, wow.
Right?
Full service? You kidding me?
Yeah. And it's important. I have customers that come from, they come out of their way because of, bad knees, bad hips. It's awesome that we can be that place for those people, because the family network is no longer what it used to be. You don't have 4 or 5 kids at home, and where grandma can yell out, "Boys, go check my tires," or there's so much seclusion right now, and everybody's moved abroad from the Maritimes, and they're working out there, and
it's crazy though.
Those big families aren't anymore.
Between 3 or 4 cents a liter you're taking. Like the government's taking what, like 70 cents?
67 cents. Yeah.
67 cents a liter, and you get
doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and you get
and
4 cents at best.
So I'll make $150 on that 3,000 liters, and I'll sell 3,000 liters of gas in a week. It's getting busier now. We have the orchards, the apple orchards are all here, and they support me. They buy their fuel, so but it's not enough to pay the wage of the person.
$150 for a week,
buddy. Well, that's the gas and the diesel, so it's ridiculous when you actually break it down to what the profit on it. I don't even know if it pays for the hydro to have it on. So it's all based on just getting the people in the door so they can buy some diabetes and a pack of smokes, and I'll make a couple bucks on that.
And then hopefully service their car.
It's heartbreaking, buddy.
At the garage.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I try and offer good quality stuff, but it's expensive. Right. And I have there are young kids that run to the cooler because it's got cheese sticks in it, and it's got a whole bunch of different kinds of cheese sticks in it, and I like that. But we do have the old school candy, and it's good, and I like the ice cream. And
you got such a heart. It's hilarious. Nobody would get in the business of delivering fuel to consumers. Why would you get into that business? It's not even that's. I mean, is there an opposite word to lucrative? Like, is like that is
it's retarded. Part of me, it's I don't know. I did take a hit to the head, but
wow,
it's just it's a complete service to the community. I mean, the gentleman who owned the garage, 5 owners before me or 4 owners before me, he's Glendon's in his 80s, and he works harder than most people today. He still runs a sawmill. Him and I he brought his camper van in. It had a stuck caliper. Short story, but it's worth it. Him and I are under we're sharing the time together, and we're bonding. And I had to do an inspection on it, so wanted to make sure it was good to go. And it had a stuck caliper, and you and I know that a stuck caliper on an old Sportsman Dodge can really ruin your camping adventure. So. And he was dead set. No, we'll just pop the piston out. We'll give her a polish. We'll flip the seal. Everything will be good. And I'm like, yes, Glendon, I know. But for $82, I can have you a brand new remand one here before we even get this one off. I promise you. Oh, no. So we sat there and we rebuilt the caliper. And the next day it stuck again, and we put the new one on. But it was the time I got to spend with him and all that was absolutely priceless.
Right.
And, he had a tow truck, and he pulled everybody in the neighborhood out of the ditch at least once, or someone in their family. And it's a thankless job. Assuming the liability for the community in the automotive world is something that it does take an odd cat. We have to be a little bit crazy. And I have customers that show up, and they don't care what the price of fuel is. They know how important it is for the garage to be in Morristown. It's been there. I think 47 it was built, or so yeah, it's just my turn to have a crack at the can and take care of the community and do it. And it's if it wasn't for a plethora of broken stuff around and being, you know, we're pretty good at it. I'm not the best mechanic by any means, but together I got a decent crew, and we'll keep building on that, and we're doing good stuff. And there's you know as well as I do, it doesn't take much to pull a spark plug out, give it some sandpaper, clean the carb, kick it out the door, if that's all it needs. And right now everybody's so convinced that it's just garbage. No, it's just garbage. Get rid of it. Go buy a new one. The big lighter mentality.
Those days are over, though. I mean, those days are over for a lot of Canadians, especially with the new proposed what is it, quotas of how many cars can be sold in Canada that are zero emissions. It really is just a quota on gas and diesel trucks and cars, and essentially what that's going to do is it'll starve the market of new vehicles, so people will be forced to fix older and older vehicles. And I mean, this is just going to put more work on our plates. You know, as mechanics, we're going to have plenty of stuff to work on, you know, because that's the thing. We already have a recession-proof job. I mean, that's it. In a great economy, our job's kind of boring when we're just doing oil changes on brand new cars all day long, right?
Yeah.
And you know, as you get into a recession, you fix cars until it gets so bad that people just start riding their bike.
Yeah. And you know what is going to be our issue is the parts availability.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're so lucky to have Lordco. Not that I'm trying to boast any corporate name or nothing, but like I deal with three large companies, and I still call out west and talk to Whistler from time to time just to get part numbers and just to utilize their network of suppliers, because it's incredible that here in the Maritimes they don't have a lot of what that one company does, and it's either that or you have to rely on the Amazon or the Rock Autos and that it's the quality in a lot of it is just absolute garbage. It's not even worth installing sometimes. I've had lower control arms that they completely missed the weld on the bushing, and you know, the customer do-it-yourselfer did the job, brought it into me. The car's handling funny, and the rear bushing was completely detached off the lower control arm. Wow. And you could see that the weld just missed it. So that's why a lot of shops they refuse to install the stuff, you know. But
well, yeah, and
can't get it.
That's how it is for us at my shop. We don't install customer supplied parts. It's a liability. We don't want to assume. And then there's also, like, we have service riders, and their pay is through the sale of parts. Like we get preferred rate, and then we sell it for basically what you would buy it for anyway if you bought it yourself.
Yep.
So because we get a preferred rate, we make a little bit of a profit, which allows us to hire somebody to answer the phone and get parts for us. So I mean, the industry works the way it works for a reason. You're not really saving a buck by buying your own parts. If you're listening to this, just trust your mechanic.
Yeah, you're not.
Trust your mechanic.
You're not. And that's it. I have a good business because I am super fair, and I know you guys. I know Newport's always been super fair, and that's why it's still around, right? There's a lot of doors that open quick and they close right quick, and it's because they get too greedy. They can't provide, and they're just hungry on the buck. But no, it's a hard industry to be in. The convenience store and the gas it is literally it's a necessity of the community, and I'm sure they'll be shutting me down soon enough anyways for some unknown reason, or environmental this or air quality that. I don't know what it'll be, but leave it up to them though.
Well, hopefully if we get a change in government, that won't happen. They haven't been cracking down on actual suppliers just yet, or the retail and the supply chain.
They're working on it. They're working on it. You know it.
Now, I don't want to discourage people from getting into mechanics, because we're obviously talking about supplying fuel to people. That's the
no. Get into the trades. Get into the trades.
Because I was saying at the beginning of the show,
impact.
I was saying that at the beginning of the show tonight. Yeah, get into the trades. It's and if you're watching the show and you know some young buck or something like that, somebody like that who's not sure what he wants to do for a living for the rest of his life, and it's not even for the rest of your life, you can get into this career and always have it as a fallback. Get yourself a trade and then go do whatever, corporate gig you think you want to do, but you always have a red seal to fall back on. That's the way to go. And people go to perpetual college these days. Go to trade school. The government essentially subsidizes it. You're going almost for free. You're getting paid the whole time while you're there, and at the end of the day, you get a high-paying job that's rewarding. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
It is awesome. I don't know if I would pick auto mechanics again. I did a stint. I went and got a computer systems technician degree in Ontario there. After I stepped out of the automotive apprenticeship program. I got an allergic reaction to black rubber. So, those Nurtile gloves for me came around a long time ago because overexposure. When I worked for a subsidiary of Honda, the Showa plant, and we would build CV shafts and, shift work, grabbing that raw CV boot all day long. And I used to it was really bad for my hands. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to get out of this so I can still do it. And I went and I got a computer systems technician degree. And so I figured, perfect. With the way technology is going in the industry, it'll be great to have a good concept on what's going on in there, and try and morph the two industries together. And that's the best part about trades, is you can have a couple of them. There's nothing saying you ever have to stay in one, and there's so many facets of it. Like, pick what you're interested in. Pardon me. I've got a nephew. I've got a couple nephews, and I love them all. But my youngest nephew there, he's a plumber now, and he understands that it is a good job and it pays well, and if you do it right and you do it well, you don't have it's not a lot of work. It's the time well spent, and you're paid well to be in that place and do a good job, and it's great. But the poor guy, he still will never afford a home in Southern Ontario. Like, as a first-time home buyer, with what's going on, I stand out there for him too, and I want to stand up for all them, because here he is, a new tradesman, and his girlfriend, they work good jobs, and it's just like trying to put the pennies together, and when you're looking where the decimal point is, it's ridiculous, and I fear for them, and to try to ever think of wanting to grow a new family, and yeah, man. I see a lot of harm on the horizon, and if the people can't stick together and stand up and unify, we got trouble. It's going to be a tough battle.
Well, this is why we got to fight against the whole divide and conquer stuff. We're getting into that in a minute here. I just want to talk about some of the super chats here. Jason Abbey with $2 super chat says, "Can you put in the description? I think you're talking about the We Unify event. Maybe I will put that in the description for sure." Anna May with a $6.99 super chat says, "Clyde, can you do a shout out to my nephew Mark Ivan for the job offer from Hino Motors in Japan, please? He worked really hard to get this job offer." Well, shout out for that job offer, Mark. Great job, great work. That's awesome. I love to hear about people pursuing the careers that they want to get into, and Hino Motors. So it's obviously the it's right up our alley. So yeah, big shout out to Mark. Thank you so much for the super chat as well. Daifeichu, I always don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct, with a $10 super chat. "I'm praying for you and your family on a good move. I hope you can get some big shows down in Texas, so more people can get to know what a great guy you are." Well, thank you so much. I was talking to you on the phone just the other day about this whole move to Texas, and Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. You're gonna come visit me. I'm gonna make sure that happens.
Not on those 46-degree days you were talking about. You and I differ there, buddy.
Yeah, I come down in the winter when it's
I like
when
to
it's
be
crappy
warm.
and
Don't get me wrong.
when it's crappy up here, come down and visit.
Sounds good.
Chris B with the 279 super chat says, hit the like button. Thank you so much. Jason Abbey with $2. Good job, everyone, on closing chat and clicking like. Yeah, thank you so much. Jason Abbey also for $2 saying, Northern Fam Girl needs a membership. Let's try. And then I think he gifted that to her. Cherry, is it Sherry 1965 with a 279 super chat. No message. Thank you very much. Penny D with a $5 super chat saying, thanks guys, A. Love that. Jason Abbey with a $10 super chat. It took me a few memberships to get Northern Fam Girl a membership. Let's give her a shout out. Clyde, can you do a 1 minute reading chat for you? Wait, a 1 minute of reading chat for me. What does that even mean? I'm reading all the super chats here. We could get into some of the chat there as well. I'll see what's going on. Northern Fam Girl is in there saying, yeah, lol. Gordon Meyer asking, when's moving day? Well, we have to move out of this house by the end of the month, and then we got to find something temporary in town here, and I gotta try to find work, a place that we want to live, schools for the kids, all that stuff. It's kind of hard remotely, so it's kind of up in the air, but we're gonna make it work. That's a thing. Mr. Roscoe Pico for $5 says, race aftermarket parts, only no stock, no putting that problem back on.
New old stock, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I'm dyslexic, so when something is like a typo, I read it exactly as it's written.
It's our trait.
It is.
It's just how it is.
It is just how it is. Diane Sylvain with a $10 super chat. Sam, you are awesome. From Farm Girl in Alberta. Hey, Clyde, did you hear Donald Trump will be on Rebel News Rumble Freedom platform on May 8th? That should freak out Trudeau. I did not hear that. That sounds hilarious. I want to tune into that. It'll
ruffle feathers.
The whole media complex is just gonna have a freak out. They despise Donald Trump, and they keep trying to compare Donald Trump to Pierre Poilievre, which is like, wow. There really isn't much of a comparison there. And they keep saying that he's bringing American style politics, but they're the ones inviting Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton and all these people to their convention. So yeah, blame others for exactly what it is that you're doing. Isn't that the old mantra from these kind of people? But anyway,
and that's true. That's it. That's how we've been able to expose them, and they will literally tell you what they're doing as they accuse you.
Mm-hmm.
It's factual. That's the best way to, most of the time, one of the customers, if I get in a customer's car to bring it on the hoist and CBC radio's on, I'm triggered. And I sit there and I listen to it, and honestly, whatever they're talking about, you watch the next couple days, and in my eyes, it'll be 100%. It'll be a 180 of what it is, and it's so interesting to see how they can control it so aggressively.
We also have Diane Sylvain with a $5 super chat. Says, sorry, Donald Trump Jr., my typo. Still will freak out the libs. Love it. Okay, so it's not Donald Trump, it's Trump Jr. Yeah, that's funny. Jason Abbey with a $2 super chat. Read normal chat for 1 minute. Okay, I'll read some of the normal chats. It's weird because when you try to read the normal chat, sometimes it's like you're reading other chats, like people saying things to other people. It's a thing. But one guy says, if Pierre Poilievre is the Canadian Trump, then Trudeau is the Canadian Mao. Yeah, well, that's a fair point. I think Trump and
Not far fetched.
I think Trump and Pierre will rock North America. I think that's true. I mean, I'm a fan of this idea of having Pierre Poilievre and Trump as the president of the United States at the same time, especially if the elections happen in a very very close succession there.
Confession through projection.
Yeah, that's a Viva Fry thing. He says that a lot.
That's Rage Man or Ragman X. That's sorry, I'm reading your chats too.
Yeah, of course. Clyde gets a lot of chat. Historic lows, Clyde. Yeah, of course. Getting back to the historic lows. Have you seen that video clip of Justin Trudeau telling a reporter that was asking him, "What are you going to do when the interest rates, or how are we going to service debts in the future if you keep borrowing all this money?"
Glenn.
You've seen it?
Oh, how can you not? It's like when you're listening to that, and that's our prime minister. That's our commander in chief has to say. It's just like, did he just say he chooses not to focus on monetary policy?
He did.
Did he just say that? And he admires China for their dictatorship, and that the budget will balance itself, and that I'm an extremist. It's all nonsense. The lies that we're having to listen to and swallow is just ridiculous.
It is. I caught you switching words there. It happens. But yeah, no, it's really crazy. They'll just make all kinds of stuff up, or they'll find little misnomers, and then they want to pretend like it's something serious or something else. Miriam Bartley with a $2 super chat. No message, just saying a number one. Thank you so much. Jason Abbey with $20 says, "Thanks, Clyde. Let's share your guest social media." Of course, everybody knows Sam on Twitter. And Sam is also on Facebook. That's where people mostly will find you, right, Sam?
Yeah, that's right. I do have a Rumble page, RPM FMP. That I got a bunch of the Freedom Convoy stuff on there, a bunch of the videos that weren't taken off the phone. And it's pretty good. But no, at Rebel JP for the Twitter.
Wait, would you say RPM? FMP?
FMP, all caps. Yeah.
I just want to get it, so I'll have it here, so I can show it. I can show it on the screen here. So you go over to that Rumble page, but I'll also because I'll be publishing this on Monday as well. I'll put the links to all of this stuff in the description, so people that watch it Monday morning can check that out as well as all your social media, Facebook included. You always put all your videos on Facebook, and I was like, hey dude, why aren't you on on YouTube? But Facebook, you guys had like so many people in your Facebook groups, right? It was crazy.
And that's it too. Like I mean, a lot of us are what is it? Creature habits.
Yeah.
And just with the Facebook platform, it went to 100. You know what? This is how busy we've all been. I couldn't tell you what the accurate numbers are on that, but I think it was 185,000 last time I checked on the nationwide protest against the carbon tax. And here's how the nonsense goes, you know, with the interference and the people that have inserted themselves in right from the get-go of it. We've been the sabotage that we've had to deal with. The person that started all the subgroups is holding them essentially hostage, and he's got these bot farms going and these trolls that are in there, and they're just constantly putting slander and inappropriate things. Like, we all agreed that every page it's just going to be carbon tax stuff. And
wait, so something's happening on like an IT side of things and the Facebook pages?
We have one guy, and you know, as we got to talk about it, we nobody could figure out where he was vetted from or how he became involved with it. And you know, he did a lot of good work, and it was really impressive. And you know, on our Zoom calls, it was very genuine. You know, and like I said, he was doing a lot of work, and from my standpoint, he was investing himself very heavily into it. And he's still on there right this very second, and I'm sure he's gonna watch this. He took my yesterday's live and he put it on a Twitter spiel, and you know, put the hashtags axe the taxes, and then stop the shots, like, just, and then my blurb underneath it, like trying to associate me into other things that I'm not focusing on right now.
Oh, right. Okay.
And
So
this is,
like you want to just keep it as one thing. Get rid of the carbon tax in Canada. That's the one issue.
that's it. As far as I'm concerned right now, what this is going, like, I put myself into this, and I know all the harm, and I know the political nonsense, and really what it was for me, it was an expose. It was to show how the RCMP are going to treat you when you do stand up peacefully, and it's going to be how the Prime Minister of Canada chooses to show up or chooses not to show up, and the words that he says, and it's going to expose the people that show up on the side of the road and do a good job, and it's going to show the people that didn't. This has been a complete egg on their face mission for me. Just literally show the Canadian people, the ones that the CBC have been indoctrinating so hard. I wanted to give them something to see that completely went against the narrative. And every car that goes by with their cell phone in the passenger window and all those honks, they're going home and turning on the TV, and they're watching them slander us. And they're like, well, no, you know, Maggie shared that on the sisters group. That's the same people there. Look at that. They were awesome. She stopped in for a hug and a cup of coffee, and they were cooking hot dogs and having a birthday party for this 19-year-old. Like, you know, there was a whole group of truck drivers that stopped by, and they drive back and forth, and they've been across Canada, and they saw all these demonstrations carry on, and they're just so proud, and they what can we do, and here come the cases of water and the cases of Gatorade and the food, and it's just like, no, boys, there's only 10 of us here.
We got enough, thanks.
And like, no, this is fine. Or like, yeah, but I don't, we need people. Like, go home and convince people that this is the best thing you can do, is literally come down for 10, 15 minutes. And so sure enough, everybody that shows up in the roundabout would come and grab a flag and go out there and stand there. And you would instantly see it come over the soul that it was genuine and it was good for you to do that and make a difference. And then all of a sudden you'd get some horn honks, and the people would be, you know, it was kind of like a concert. You were fishing. You wanted to, what does it take to get this guy to honk his horn? You know, is it a smile? Is it a dance? Is it a twirl of the flag? Anything to just keep your morale up and put the hope in the Canadian people that there are people that are willing to do something about the harm and stand up. And like I said, I'm so proud of the people that are still doing it with style. They did bring their A game, and they knew it was going to be a long haul, because they have no interest in paying attention to us.
No,
right?
no,
I was
they don't.
blindsided when Pierre decided to show up at the trailer. You know, I have mixed emotions about it. I feel it was.
Let me stop you there. There's a couple more super chats, and then I want to get into that. So Prep Rebel Actual with a $69.99 super chat says Trudeau needs to friggin' take a walk of shame. He actually spelled it frickin', not the usual Canadian friggin' that I'm used to. Trudeau needs to frickin' take a walk of shame. He's so out of touch. Absolutely, he's out of touch. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that very generous super chat. Jason Abbey says, for $2, finish your 1 minute reading. We did a minute. We're moving on because I want to get to this story, because this was how you guys made national headlines because they were just waiting for something to slander you about, and this was their moment. They the next Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Poilievre, joins. He just happened to be going through. You weren't there, incidentally. You weren't there at the time, but it was your trailer. So he just happened to be going through, and he stopped at where all these people are protesting against the carbon tax that he's also made his #1 flagship ticket for his election. It's going to be the carbon tax election, and that's what he says. And this is where it's going. Now, when he gets there, he goes into your trailer, and they focus on one little aspect of it, and that was the flag at the bottom corner. You can see that on the screen. This little flag that was drawn on, and what is your trailer that has tons and tons of signatures and all that stuff from the Freedom Convoy, correct?
Yep.
So explain this.
Yep.
Explain
and
this.
other functions. So that trailer was a blank slate when it came off the street, off Wellington Street. You know, I have pictures of it, and there wasn't a spot you couldn't draw on it with a Sharpie. You couldn't. The words of encouragement and love and appreciation, the names from around. You know, there are people literally from around the world that wrote their names and a little something on that trailer. The inside, the outside. When we were in Ottawa, the salt and brine that was on the trailer, we were trying to wash it off to preserve it. And by the time I got home, I wasn't able to clear coat it. You know, that's an expensive adventure to try and preserve something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it slipped by because we were just too busy. And as the sun has faded it started to, they've come off. And then we went and did the Christine Anderson tour. And it was signed again, and we did this Save the Children, and then we did a reunion, and every time it was always just an open slate. Like, if you have something of encouragement, or you have whatever you want to put on there, feel free. You know, never with any harm in mind and no intent. And you know, Morgan, I believe is how I didn't know who put it on there. It didn't really affect me. And that's how neutral it is to me. I never put any onus to it. Everybody, some people like the Montreal Canadiens, some people don't. Like, it's just it's another thing, right? And to hyper focus on it and to see how they have reacted over such a stupid thing. Like, there's so many people that didn't know what the FYMM is, and I was like, you know what, after a year that it was on there, I actually Google searched to figure out what it was, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, well, that makes sense. You know, that was heavy to do with the vaccine mandates and the arrive can and everything we were going through, and, you know, no means no, or just say no, and all the slogans that came about.
Mm-hmm.
And to see them just jump on that, and they asked me, they're like, oh, you know, poor Tommy, he saw the video right away, and they all felt so bad that they, you know, had let him in without talking to me. And I was like, absolutely not. This is the most welcoming environment anybody, like, the proof that he was not threatened by our presence, and that his security detail was there, and that there was all of a sudden, you know, there was a couple RCMP. I guarantee you, we are under surveillance there when the people are there. That what they've done to our cell phones and the drones that are there in the nighttime, and I know that they're trying to pay attention to us because they want something to hold over us, and watching how they responded to the Diagon picture is the proof in the pudding. Like, they are grasping at all straws. They're trying to find something they can hang over good, peaceful, proud Canadians. And if that's what they're going to do, and then to see how Jeremy responded to it, and when I saw that video, what he said about you, and gee, I was so I had vomit in my mouth all morning. I just couldn't swallow what I had heard because I had so much I wanted to just verbally vent on this guy, and it wasn't worth it.
Hmm.
And then the private message that he chose to send to me is just, it was just like, man, you're in the same kindergarten class as our prime minister. You guys are pathetic. Canada deserves so much more than this. And I do strongly believe that anybody that has served for our country and done something like that should be seeking therapy. Like I have been through some heavy traumatic experiences in my life, most that wouldn't believe what I've had to go through, and I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for really good therapists. And I went through some shitty ones, don't get me wrong. Like I had people that I just couldn't resonate with, and I just didn't appreciate their time, and it wasn't working. But then all of a sudden I got a guy that he was just like, hey, you know what, you're fucking doing fine. Pardon my language. You're doing okay, bud. Like, quit worrying about it. Like day by day, and focus on the love. Stop dwelling on all the anger and the hatred and the pain and the frustration and the sorrow. Like you have to acknowledge all of those things, but don't hyper focus on any of it. Focus on the moderation in life. Do it all. Enjoy it all. Work your butt off. Play your butt off, but do it all. Don't sit there and freak out all the time.
Well, and fomenting is like I think the word for it, because I mean these guys were not on my radar for the longest time. I mean I know they're doing a thing, that's their thing. I thought it was a joke too, and then they got upset with me because I was supporting the Conservative Party in my region. Like, what is such a benign thing.
Right.
So I looked at what they were saying about me so that I could argue with them. And then I found out that they've fomented on a lot of these things. And my thing is like, this is why I want to keep people's spirits up, because I know when people feel like there's nothing that they can do in their life, they start to look for scapegoats. They start to look for people to blame it on. And, the government's a great group of people we can blame things on, and that's fine. But, then blame it on, racial groups and blame it on this and that. I'm not into that. I don't get behind that. I don't want that in my life. And, I decided to show people what they were actually saying. That's what I intended to do. Just so people are like, not quickly, because here's the thing, the media has gone right to anytime somebody they disagree with politically, how can we frame them as these bad guys, racists or homophobes or any of that stuff. And of course in our society, the reason why those labels stick and they're so bad and they're so damning is because we largely think that those are bad ideas, and to associate someone with those ideas is bad. But then when this group decides that they want to start adopting some of these ideas, I'm like, whoa, what the heck? People need to know about this. And that was really my only intention in that whole ordeal. But here's the liberals trying to tie you guys to this. And this is the whole thing. Like if those guys want to go and foment and be angry and do that on their own, that's one thing. But then, for other people to be labeled in that same thing, good people that are doing good things, like yourself, like other people that are also doing other great things. This is where I'm like, I take exception to it, because I know what you're doing and I know what your real thoughts are. You and I have gone camping together, man. Like,
yeah, dude.
Like we've spent nights at the campfire together, and with our families as well, with our kids and our wives together. Yeah, that's the thing. So I don't want to see people like you getting tarnished by the bad behavior of other people, and that's where really my motivations came from in all of that stuff. But
so when I experienced all this, that was the reality. You get a good gut sense when you want to spend time with somebody and you want to invest yourself in somebody else's family and take care of it. You learn from those. It is the gut sense. And I don't think that everybody agrees 100% with that rage. I guarantee you that there's people that are like, oh, I don't not want to be part of this because I was part of it before, and it's just getting carried away. And I think it is motivated politically. I just, there's no reason why it should have come out as way as it was. So why was it there, and why are they choosing to use that to try and paint me with and the people that are participating? Because it's not going to hold up. We are good people, and we have no interest in causing any harm to anybody. This is our mission with the carbon tax removal, is to help everybody, regardless of who you are, regardless of what you do and why you do it. Like, this literally affects, it will help every political party if we can succeed, because the evidence as I see it is it's the facet that's absolutely crippling our families right now. And it is an overreach that I believe is unelected foreign bureaucrats. They're the ones that are choosing to destroy our country. It's not the Canadian people. We've just been conditioned or convinced or psyoped or whatever it is, psychosis, whatever it is that they've been doing to us to convince us that this is a good idea to pay for a better environment. I'm not a climate denouncer, but to think that by making me completely broke is going to make the weather better is ridiculous.
Well, this has been an argument that I've brought forward a bunch, because we know this from history. If people are poor, they don't care about the environment. They don't. They only care about making ends meet. So, what happens when people are poor? They can't heat their home. You know what they're going to do? They're going to go out and they're going to poach trees. They're gonna burn whatever they can and make heat to keep their house warm. It's going to be detrimental to the environment. It's been the case all over the planet. This is just a human condition. But as people get wealthy, that's when they start looking around and go, this place is a dump. Let's take care of this place.
We're not allowed to talk reality here. This is 2024.
This is what I do on this channel. I talk reality, my man.
I know.
I've labeled it.
Good.
I've even labeled it. I call it being ecological. This whole concept, staying away from the environmental way of doing things that we've been doing.
That's perfect.
It is. Perfect. And the thing is, like, Canadians are some of the people that care about the ecology and the environment the most around the world. People from Canada, it's drilled into us. We all care about the environment. We live so close to it all the time in Canada. It's crazy. And so many people are outdoors, woodsy type people. We all know, if you're not one, you know somebody. And people generally care. I mean, we even go through the ritual of doing the recycling. That's not even very beneficial when you look into that either.
Definitely not.
But
let's not get into it. But it's not. It's not like the whole recycle. Live in Whistler for a while. Go through that recycling world and watch how many trucks actually go down the corridor with what they say is supposed to be in it, and you'll be disgusted.
Oh, it's like the Duff factory in The Simpsons. Duff and Duff Light. It comes out of the same tube.
You got it.
That's the way it works. But people do the ritual and they feel good about it, and that's what matters on like a political level. And this is why I want to focus people and to say, like, listen, we have technology that will get us out of this. We don't need to impoverish people with things like a carbon tax. We can implement technology. We can adapt, different ways of living. Whatever happened to, using, you remember the milk bottles that we used to get?
Oh, yeah.
I use them now.
Pop bottles were glass. It was it was a greed thing, bud. It's country club greed. I've had this analogy through here. until we can figure out a way to get rid of the greed, we're going to have a heck of a time with politics. And I don't think a majority government should ever be something that Canada should have. We should have fair governance all across the board, and we should have fair taxation, because we need it. We need a solid infrastructure. We need, but with all that, the main facet for me is accountability. Is you have to know you can be fired from your job in the moment if you screw up, and your peers identify that you have just drastically harmed the mission or the person or something, that you, just like with any other job, you're fired, man. and these people that are just running around like they have this cloak of safety on. It's that's what I would like to see changed in government is accountability for their actions, because what we've seen over the last bunch of years, there are people that are going out of their way to push these narratives and continue this harm. And the fact that Guilbeault is a convict, or he is a convicted criminal, and all of a sudden he's our environment minister. That's who vetted this guy? Where did he come from? How did he become?
They wanted him.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Like, I think we must have missed all the other resumes that came in for that position.
Oh, he was perfect for the Liberals. He was perfect, exactly. Well, I mean, he was convicted for scaling the CN Tower as in a protest thing. I think he did another one where he climbed on somebody's roof, some politician's roof. I can't remember. Greenpeace does,
and that's idiocracy.
Greenpeace,
right there.
Greenpeace is the organization that he was affiliated with, and they do even worse things. I mean, you lived in British Columbia, you know about the spikes in the trees and what that does to loggers. Like, they do some awful things, and that's not just environmental activism.
Sabotage.
That's terrorism.
Yeah.
That's terrorism is what that is. Like those nails, even if the tree gets down and doesn't hurt the logger, it'll go down and it'll hurt the people in the sawmills. Like, it's not just damaging equipment;
Absolutely.
it's putting people's lives at risk, and that's some criminal stuff. So I get really upset when I hear about stories about people doing that kind of thing. It's just ugly behavior.
That's because we have friends and family that thrive on sustainable logging, and we are out, like, we've been in those forests where you've seen it done right, and it's not a rape and pillage. It's it's done with sustainability and regeneration in mind, like, and that's how it should be. And they have great groups of people that sit there and manage it, and unfortunately, I know in the last 5 years it's been sabotaged, or it's been taken over by these bureaucrats, man.
Well, people don't realize that it actually when loggers go in, because I got friends that are loggers, and they go in, they cut down, they keep the biggest root system in that area, in that cut block. They keep the biggest root system in, and then they clear everything out, and then they have a few particular trees that are gonna rejuvenate the next growth, right? And then they bring in what they call the smellies. Anyone at logger camp, they know that.
Plant.
The smellies, the smellies that come in. There's a quota for. They all smell like patchouli and BO. You'll understand what I'm talking about. But
But if you
planters
hang out in the bush if you try and plant trees and you subject yourself to that environment, and the bugs, the black flies, the mosquitoes, the heat, and when you know that you're just focused at task at hand, and that's put the seedling in the ground, and everyone is planted with care, and they're paid well to do that job, because it is a hard, thankless, stinky, dirty job, but it has to be done, and that's a thing. It's a true thing, and it happens, and it's done well, and you can see the reforestation, and they're a huge facet of it, and there's not enough of those people,
No.
It's because not many people want to get out and be like, what do you mean I have to have a specialty shovel and good boots and not be allergic to 100,000 horsefly bites a year.
It's pretty bad. It's brutal out there. Holy cow. I mean, I've gone out looking for firewood and stuff. You go to these cut blocks. Oh man. Yeah, it's a tough job. And I know a lot of good people that do that work. And they do it honest. It's an honest living. And here's the thing. It's good for the environment, actually, what they're doing, because they're replanting the CO2 that gets soaked up by these new growth forests is way more than any old growth forest, actually, because it's sequestering it. Old growth are neither neutral or they actually produce carbon dioxide, which a lot of environmentalists don't want to talk about. Logging actually reduces carbon dioxide. It soaks it up, and then what do? We harvest it and we turn it into houses. Like it's a win-win, really, at the end of the day. And then the other angle that I like to tell people is, well, what would you prefer? Poached wood from the Amazon rainforests, or would you rather Canadian ethical wood that's harvested and done in a good way?
So how about all the mills? Like, how many friends do you know that have lost their jobs in the mill aspect of it?
Yeah.
Like all that unprocessed timber that's being sent abroad, and then we're trying to convince ourselves that by driving less here is emitting less CFCs or less hydrocarbons into the atmosphere when we've got these big freighters full of raw lumber going abroad to be processed and then shipped back across over the seas on these huge boats that sip hundreds of liters a day, and we're taking away from the communities that thrived on these mills. And I had one of my customers, the guys from here, he was just in Merritt. And we were just talking about the big mill in Merritt. And he's like, that's your old stomping ground, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, I used to stock car race in Merritt. It's like, pretty cool spot. And he's like, well, I don't know if it's pretty cool or not. And he was talking about the floods and the atmospheric rivers, and how, talking to the locals, they're like, some of these places have been around forever and never flooded. And why all of a sudden now? And we're trying to be told it's climate change. And they're like, no, like this infrastructure was never actually repaired, and it's been on the back burner for 10 years. We knew this was going to happen if we had a rainfall that accumulated to this much. And Memphis and I weren't far from, well, you know where the cabin is, right?
Yeah.
And we weren't far when Linton burnt. And you're a realist. When you see something with your own eyes, you'll never forget it. And that was something I'd never seen before the night that place caught on fire. And I've seen a lot of forest fires, and it's very disturbing to see what that town is right now, that you still can't get in it and it's still blocked up and those people aren't getting their properties back. It looks just like Lahaina, that little town in the middle of British Columbia where the Thompson and the Fraser happen to meet, and the CN and the CP rails happen to meet. It's the only corridor in all of British Columbia where everything comes together. And there's not a lot of population there anymore, but
yeah, prime real estate for business and commerce. Yeah, this is when the tinfoil hat comes on, right? That's when
it's all around,
the tinfoil hat comes on, and you're like, somebody's behind it. Yeah, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's disheveled infrastructure. It's not atmospheric rivers. We got dikes that have been, scheduled for repair for decades that haven't been repaired. And yeah, when those dikes and those levees give, the flood comes. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science at all. And forest mismanagement, like the amount of forest debris that we see in the forests, like we shouldn't be tolerating that. It should be a case of get rid of it. It's fuel, controlled burns, all these things. What do? They do nothing. And then when a forest fire does happen, well, then it's a crown fire. It's not just a little fire, it's a crown fire. And for people who don't know what a crown fire is, it's when the forest, because forests normally burn. It's the reason why coniferous trees, pine cones, they don't even open up unless they're in an environment that's hot enough, like a forest fire. I mean, it's normal. Why do you
Right.
deciduous trees, they drop flammable stuff on the ground once a year? Why do you think that is? You know what I mean? There's brush fires are normal, but it's when there's too much
But
fuel.
when the crown
When the
goes.
canopy goes up, then it's devastating, and you get things like actual scorched earth, like the actual term scorched earth, where even the enzymes and little microorganisms in the soil get burned off, and it's just sterilized. It takes decades and decades for that soil to be rejuvenated and become a forest again. It's crazy. So like this modern environmentalism is actually so detrimental to the environment, and this is why I'm pushing it. Like, no, we need to come in with real technology and real industry and fix our environment that's been mismanaged by doughheads for so long.
Yep, we have to start paying, or we got to keep paying attention to our elders.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we've been denouncing them for so long, and that, I learned most of my industry from my peers, and I grew up as a little kid in the corner of the shop, and if I wanted to be included, I was quiet and I didn't touch anything, and I was quiet and I didn't touch anything. and that's how I was allowed to be involved in with these professional men. Sorry, I got a dog sleeping under me.
Oh.
She's just started snoring.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We've been going for a bit now. I don't want to go too long. Of course, I'm going to keep you on the line after we end the chat here live, but I want to get to some of the super chats that people did leave before we finish up here. Jason Abbey with a $10 super chat says, can you do an update on Tamara Leach, Coots 4, and what you know, and if you can do interviews? Oh, and oh no, you can't out donate me. Any 69, says Jason Abbey. Okay, so 2 messages in there. He says he won't be out donated. Yeah, I'll get on those stories. I'm gonna have Tamara on the show hopefully before I'm out of this place and lose this studio. So hopefully I'll have her on the show, not in the studio, but I'll have her on the show. Jason Abbey again with another super chat for $100, saying beat this. Okay, so it's a competition in the super chats at the moment. Okay, top super chat of the night. Jason Abbey again with $5 super chat. Just tell your friends about Clyde and his high vis merch, which I'm gonna have to get going at some point. Diane Sylvain with a $5 super chat. The power of non-violent resistance lies in its ability to reveal the true nature and intentions of violent and malevolent enemy. Author unknown. That's a really interesting quote. This is why I think it's important that you guys are doing what you're doing, Sam, with the non-violence, like from the Convoy to this new thing. It's always been on top notch, on the level. You guys are so well behaved and just doing everything right, and people love you for it. This is what's amazing.
And I'm proud to be doing it this way. You know it. You and I have had many conversations. There's many ways to skin a cat, and this is the way I've chosen to do it. And I'm so pleased with the people that are participating as well. And, right down to the liaisons, the last, we were doing some slow rolls, and that's totally legitimate and it's all acceptable. And the one girl came up and she just pulled in behind us. She's like, okay, one lane or the other lane, guys. It's like, oh, I was just passing him. And she's like, I was behind you. I know exactly what you guys were doing. She says, we support you and we appreciate you, and keep up the good work. And, to have somebody that's, she's employed. She is doing her job, and she has a couple different ways she could do her job, but she's doing it well. She's doing it with professionalism, and she's doing it with empathy, and yeah, it seems like she is the youngest of 6 brothers. Like I wouldn't be picking on this one at all. And that's and just to share that respect for one another in a professional stance is exactly what I was hoping we could get really amped up. Like when we went into the convoy and the people on the overpasses, and that's what I can't understand. I don't know what we're missing in the recipe to get everybody rallied up, because part of it was the faster we all stand up for this, then the faster we all get to go home and we all get to take care of our communities and our families. And there's 40 some odd million in Canada and 185,000 on our webpage, and I bet we had less than 2,500 people participate across Canada in it. That's not really the best numbers, but
well, during the convoy, I mean,
yeah.
that was 2 years of a pandemic. I mean, it's completely understandable that many people were absolutely affected. This carbon tax, it's only starting to affect people, and they're only starting to see the real hurt that this is going to bring. $20 bacon, man, $20 bacon is going to motivate people, and that's the reality of it.
Yeah,
because that's what's going to happen,
and it's coming. It's coming.
It is coming.
It's so freaking close. It's so freaking close.
Jason Abbey here with Jason Abbey with a $2 super chat says, "Have a good night, Clyde, and everyone." Oh, I guess he jumped out. Have a good night, Jason Abbey. If I missed you, sorry about that. Diane Sylvain with a $50 super chat saying, "I saw counselors in my life. I was a prosecutor for years. Example: some of my victims committed suicide. Jeremy has cried online about his vet friends committing suicide. Sadly, he is at a place of hate and anger. I do not agree with him. I pray for him." And that's a good way to look at it. It really is. It really is a good way to look at 100%. It. Because like even people that spew the most hateful things or say awful things, they're doing it from a position of hurt. Like nobody gets there because they just want to be that. And yeah.
No, that guy was let down 100%. That guy was repetitiously let down.
Yeah.
In order to become the man he is right now. And I understand how toxic the dark side can be.
It can.
And it is such a powerful force. And then put money in the mix, whether it's on the positive or the negative side, man. It can mess up the best of people. And unless you've got a good team standing beside you, and you've got good values and morals and ethics, and that you're willing to understand you have to work on maintaining these things, or the dark it can consume you. And I know his followers, they want that rage all the time, and it has to escalate and escalate and escalate and escalate. And it's a business for him. I hope, I don't know, man. Like, to just think that somebody has that much hatred in their life just merely out of frustration of something that, like, yeah, there is a lot of reality that there's a lot of greaseballs and dirtbags in our parliamentary system.
Mm-hmm.
And that there is a lot of pieces there, in every facet, our financial system, our education system, our banking, or our everything, our medical system. We are hooped, and there is infiltration in it all, and there's hatred and harm in it all. I see that.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you not be angry all the time? Well, you got two options. You can either be angry all the time, or you can try to just keep your cool and show the professionalism and show the true Canadian side of life, and know that we already made waves being peaceful. And that there are those of us that are still willing to stand up for one another.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't too late for Canada. Absolutely not. There is a necessary, there's a heavy need for fair governance and fair taxation, because that's what has to happen. But this overreach, tyrannical nonsense, this sociopaths that are running around just chirping away. It's unacceptable, and until they're held accountable for their actions, I don't think we'll have everybody on board. But like you said, you're right. The pandemic was 2 years of hatred and frustration and angst. That's what led us all to be out there. So I don't know how much longer my community can last. I don't know if they'll make another couple years at the rate this is harming them. But it's a damn shame, buddy.
It is a damn shame. Gary Crail with a $10 super chat says, "Howdy, Clyde and Clydesters, and also our Clydettes." Absolutely great to see all of you here. Clyde, thank you for everything that you're doing. Well, thank you, and obviously also thanks Sam here for everything he's doing. Al Stewart with a $20. Just tuning in, Clyde. Did you get a chance to read my reply to your comment in fuel loading from yesterday? On fuel loading from yesterday? No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to read that. Where was that? Was that a comment in the video? I'm gonna have to search for that. If you tweet it at me, it'll probably show up in my mentions. So that'd probably be a better way to put it at me. But thank you so much, and hopefully I do get a message from you. Jason Abbey, $10 says, look at NP, Northern Perspective. Can't say Fox or Cypher in Super Chat. Say out loud who they are looking at. The top 10 Trudeau scandals. She sells by the seashore. I'm gonna mess all of that stuff up. Give me a break. Clyde, don't worry, I love you. Okay, thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Peter Whitten.
They're rough on you.
Yeah, they're great to me. Peter Whitten, $2 says, love your community and I love your community more and more every day. Thanks. Yeah, this is the greatest community. It's so amazing. I love hanging out with everybody. It's so cool. And even the times when we get to meet in person, it's fantastic, man. Just getting a face to the online names that you see and getting to shake hands is so amazing. I can't give it enough credit. And also being able to get out and touch grass, not just being online all the time. But this is why I keep pulling wrenches, man. That's touching grass. That's staying grounded right there. It's the way to keep your sanity for sure.
And it's a great way for us to interact with the people in our communities. There's no that's the icing on the sugar or icing on the cake for me. Is that I get to talk to people from all different walks of life and all different ethnicities, and they come in and they, unfortunately they usually need what I have, so they're kind of trapped in the conversation for at least a minute or two, and I get to hit them with it. It's good. It's good. We're making, our side isn't growing any smaller, and these communities and these families and the reality that Canada isn't that big, and there's it's just getting smaller and smaller for all of us because of the technologies. And I hope we can hopefully we can keep them going, right? And I just got a text there from a real good buddy of mine, and he's been a huge supporter and a fellow mechanic from Ottawa, and he helps me with the reason. He really helps me along, and a big shout out to that Mr. Addison guy, and he knows how important he is.
Awesome.
And just like you, and he was just saying that he was watching, he's heading off to bed, but him and I went through something the other day, and it was about the B trains of fuel that are traveling around. So your conventional transport truck right now that's going around 62,000 liters of fuel, based at $1.75, was $87,500 worth of value. 14,000 of that was taxes, and $1,500 of that is your HST on top of your carbon tax.
Holy cow.
So every transport truck you see cruising down the road hauling fuel has $1,500 of theft tax attached to it. And if he's definitely a smarter man than I when it comes to numbers and such, and he's got a great view of it, and you know, and like I said, he's been a huge help to me, and I'm blessed to have him as a friend. And that never would have happened because of Ottawa. And these networks that we're building, it's wicked. It's super powerful. It's gonna keep on going.
It's gonna keep going.
I hope
it is.
I hope we make it out. I will make it out west to see you before you leave, and we'll go up and we'll go see if we can't catch a couple more of those fish.
those are tasty. Those are tasty. So where can people find you, Sam? Just one last plug before we get out of here.
Yeah, Sam Field on Facebook, at Rebel JP on Twitter. Sam's Garage, Morristown, Nova Scotia. Stop on by for a cup of coffee anytime, and as soon as I can and when I can, I'll be back at that border, standing with those passionate people that are really steadfast, and they're such proud Canadians, and they're standing on guard for thee, and that's as simple as it should be to help. They identify, every single one knows that there's something going on, and there is a middle class that's willing to stand up against this, and we know that the poverty, it's hitting so many people, and that's it. I mean, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of the people that are willing to stand up against these tyrants and make a genuine impact in a better future for our children.
So I got a bunch of people just did a bunch of super chats right at the end, so I'll just read those out. Yeah. Al Stewart, $20 says, when are you going to attend the next public event? Would be nice. It would be nice to meet you in person. I'll be doing the public event. It's the Reclaiming Canada conference. If you're in Victoria, hopefully you can go check this one out. I'll put the website in the chat here so everybody can go check that out. That's going to be the next one. There's a bunch of people that are going. I'm pretty sure Marty's going to be coming out too. I don't know. It hasn't been confirmed, but there's a bunch of people that are coming to this. There's a bunch more names to be added to this, so that's going to be really good. King Cracker with the $10 super chat said this in VC the other night, but will repeat. The idea of propaganda isn't to convince you to their side, but that you have no hope and you should give up. The more propaganda, the more scared they are. That's absolutely correct. It's to demoralize you. It's supposed to make you not want to fight back at the system. So don't allow them to. People want to. Misery loves company. Remember, you know that saying. People want to pull you down, and they want to tell you, no, you're not gonna. You can't make any change. You're not going to affect anything. So that's exactly what you need to do. You need to keep your motivations up, and you need to keep going at it, and you need to then that's when you can change things. Jason Abbey with another $10 says, we never mind when you try to read. It's just when some fun. It's just some fun. NP is no problem, or is that Northern Perspective? In full name, can't put the super chat to subscribe. Oh, okay, I get it. Thank you very much. Jason Abbey also with another $2 saying, now I'm sleepy on the couch. Okay, well, on that note, no more super chats. We're just gonna end this here. Good night, everybody. Thanks to everybody for joining in, and thank you, Sam, so much for coming out, especially as late as it is in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I'm almost 1:30 here.
Yeah, it's pretty late.
But, it was worth it, and I like I said, thank you to all your viewers, and keep on keeping on, bud. You're doing a great job, and to think where we've all come in the last in the short little time from just trying and making a great difference for us all. So thank you, everybody out there, and like and share, right?
Yeah, like and share. All right, everybody, keep on trucking.